Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Knips reporting from my house, and I just wanted to show you I have a few things set up on my desk that's going to make it feel like I'm back in my classroom with you. So I have a little cactus here, and another one that I'm going to paint, and one more that has all my art supplies in it, a little cactus crate. I hope you guys are all staying healthy, and I can't wait to do some online art with you. All right, boys and girls, today we are going to start our first online drawing session together, and we are going to be looking at how to draw from real life. So we're going to look specifically at how to draw houses from real life and look at some different examples. We're trying to draw a representation, which means it's going to look like it as best as we can make it. This is different than drawing something from our imagination. So some places that you can find a picture of a house to draw would be by going outside and taking a picture of your own house or your neighbor's house with your parents' permission, or have your parents help you search houses or simple houses on Google and screenshot the one that you'd like to draw. Here are some examples of real life houses, and you can pause your video if you want and see how I kind of broke them down piece by piece and drew them with simple shapes first, and then you can go back and start adding the windows and the doors and different details to your house. I just looked at the house and I picked out different shapes. Which part looks like a square? Which part has a triangle roof? How can I connect these things? Your house does not have to be fancy. It can be simple. It does not have to be a two-story house. Find one that you think that you can draw. All right, third grade, we are going to talk about how to look at real life pictures of houses or a picture of your own house. It does not have to be your own, but try to think of one that is a real life house. And we're going to talk about how to draw something from real life. So I'm going to kind of take you through how to break a house apart. And it doesn't have to be a two-story house. It doesn't have to be fancy. But there are a few things that we can do to make it look like a realistic house. Okay? And so it's a little bit different to get our mind thinking about drawing from something that you see versus drawing from something that you imagine. So I'm going to show you how to make or how to kind of break apart a house into different shapes. So if we look at this one right here, well, first of all, if I show you this one again, okay, this one, I drew this part first. So I started with a square, put a triangle on top. Then I drew the rectangle behind it, okay, and I put the slanty roof on top behind it. Then you guys can add windows and doors and the garage door or however you want. This one kind of is a representation of our house, but I ran out of room, so it's not exactly the same. But I'm going to show you today how to draw something like this one. Maybe not exactly the same, but how to draw a two-story house. And for you, like, you can go outside, as long as you're social distancing, you can go outside, you can take a picture of your house or your neighbor's house with your iPad, or go on Google, maybe with your parents' permission, and look up houses or simple houses so that you don't get some giant house that's really hard to draw. But if we're looking at drawing a two-story house, I always start with the beginning and I always start drawing light. So before we begin, you're going to need your packet of papers. I stapled 3 papers together, and then the cover sheet says art drawing packet. So just take one of those papers and tear it off, because the other 2 papers we're going to use in the next 2 weeks. And then find a pencil, and when we color these in, you can use any drawing supplies that you had in your desk. If you took home your markers, crayons, colored pencils, you can use any of that, or any of the stuff that you have at home. If you don't find art supplies, if you don't have them at home, go ahead and just draw it with a pencil and do the best that you can, because we're working through this together, okay? So if I'm going to start drawing with maybe like a rectangle. Always start light. I'm going to start a little bit darker so that you can see it. Okay, but when you draw, start very light because we only have one piece of paper to work with. So use your eraser, use the back of your paper if you need to, okay? Oops, sorry, I bumped my camera. Here is the beginning of my house, and I'm going to go ahead and make a roof on it, like this. But I think I want an entryway, so where's my middle? Here's the middle. I'm gonna put like a triangle right in the middle of mine, so it looks like I have an entryway. Okay. There, and then I'm gonna erase this line. Okay, so there is the front. It looks like it's not quite centered, so maybe I'm gonna erase it a little bit more, move it over a little. There, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so there is the front of my house. Okay, before I do anything else, I'm gonna draw the upper part of my house too. So I'm starting from like this corner of my house, or I could even start from this corner of my house if I wanted to, and go up, and from this corner up, and then I can make, let's see, I'm gonna do a roof like this again, but I'm gonna make a little part come off of my roof. So there's a little window up here, maybe in the attic. Okay, so here's my roof. I'm gonna put a little window in my attic. Okay, and then for my front porch, I think I want like pillars that come down like this, because I'm trying to make it look like this one over here. Okay, but not exactly the same. So if I'm making a porch, I'm gonna draw my pillars. Okay, take your time to make them as straight as you can. And then usually a porch has some type of railing on it. So I'm gonna draw the railings that go here. I did Sharpie my paper, but if you do not have a Sharpie at home, you totally do not have to Sharpie it. If you want the black outline, you could use a black marker, or you could use a black colored pencil and go over your lines. When I drew my steps, I just drew 1 rectangle, 2 rectangles, 3 rectangles. I didn't even bother with making them look 3D because that's not what we're worried about today. Okay, and then back here, like maybe this is the floor of my porch. And I want to put my door right here. And I'm going to draw a big door. I'm going to put a side window on it like this. And a big window in the middle with the doorknob. Okay, then from there on, you can start decorating or look at the windows that your house has. And one way to make our house look more realistic, when I'm drawing houses, this is one thing I always do. If I draw my window, it helps to make an extra box around the outside of your window, because usually windows have framing around them, and then it helps it to look more like a real life house. Okay, and I'm going to put 1 window over here. And the frame inside it. There's my windows. I could also frame my door. I could frame this window. Okay, I can put windows up here. Maybe I'm going to do 3 windows up here. 1. You could think about adding shutters if a house has shutters on them. 2, 3. I'm going to go around the outside. 1, 2, 3. So basically we're just looking at trying to make a house look more realistic and focusing on drawing something that's from real life. Okay, if you want to add a garage back here, you can add your garage if you think you can see that in the background. Okay, and if it's something that you can't, if you're unsure of how to draw something, you can skip some parts. We're just trying to make it what we call a visual representation. So you can kind of tell that it looks similar, but it does not have to look exact. So maybe I want to put a tree over here. Remember when we made our trees at the beginning of the year, we talked about making it a Y, okay, and then splitting your branches and making it a Y again, okay, and then you don't have to make a whole bunch of branches. You can just start making your cloud shapes around the outside to make it look like a tree. Sometimes we don't see all the branches. Sometimes we see mostly leaves, especially if we're looking at it from a distance. Okay, and then when I'm done, I want to make sure that I am coloring in my house, if I have coloring supplies, coloring in the whole paper and making it look really nice and neat. So thinking about craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is something when we make sure that we're coloring really, really neat and doing our very best to stay inside the lines. I cannot wait to see your pictures. Don't forget to post them on Seesaw, and if you don't know how to put them in the art folder, I will put them in the art folder for you. But please, please, please make sure that you are posting them on Seesaw so that I know that you are completing the art assignment. Have a great day.